All right, welcome to tonight's call on Creators of a New Reality with me, Shweta, and Renu. Hi, Renu. And Jarna. Hi, Jarna. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you
And
again.
we are welcoming our guest speaker tonight. Hi, Chandana. Welcome, Chandana Bawa, with her new book, which is called
Yeah,
Breaking Free from
yay.
Pain Points. So, what are the pain points? Is what we're going to be talking about today, and how are they related to the body, and what else is there, Chandana? We would love to know more about it, and so let's hear you. So, what is this book about? What are the pain points?
Hi. Thank you so much for inviting me here first and foremost. It's just wonderful to be here and to be able to talk about the book that I actually wrote straight from my heart with absolutely no filters on. So when you act, this is that I have right here. And when I actually wrote this book, when I sat down to edit it, I thought probably it was a little too much about my story.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I realized, okay, there's a difference in a story, and then there's a difference in telling you something which can actually bring you to change your life, right? So when there's a story being told, it's like a judgment that is there, which you keep talking about and changing, and telling people about. But in this, it's true that it's through the pain and through the pain points, which was money, relationships, my body, my health. It was actually all of it combined, which I was able to use the tools of access consciousness and bring myself out of.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
So, what are the
it's
pain points really? Because pain points is something that I really haven't heard about much in Access also. As much as I've
right.
been in Access, I haven't really, I wouldn't say a lot, but I am not sure whether all of us are aware of what the pain points are. So, would you like to elaborate a little more on what the pain points are?
Definitely. Pain points, according to me, is my point of view, that pain points is anything, the immediate word which comes to your mind. What does pain mean? It
Mhm.
means some kind of hurt, right?
Right.
Something that's locked into your body, which keeps coming up. Yeah. And it could be because of anything. It could be because maybe it's a point that doesn't allow you to sleep through the night comfortably, that doesn't allow you to be who you are comfortably. You've always got that nagging thought in your mind, which leads to pain and hurt, right?
Mhm.
So according to me, that's a pain point in our lives, which could be money, which could
Mhm.
be your body, of course, to a very great extent, money, your body, your health, and of course your relationships. The you know what I when I wrote this book, for me, according to me, it's a lot about your pain points are all interconnected. When you
Uh-huh.
look at your life, when you look back at any issue in your life, when we talk about pain points, that oh, you have pain points, when did they come up? And oh, you just have a backache, you went to the hospital, the doctors, and you came back with spondylitis or something. Is that where it actually starts?
Do
It
you
doesn't
mean?
start
No, I didn't really get that.
there.
Do you mean when you go to a doctor and the doctor kind of tells you, oh, this particular thing is this, and then you kind
Yes.
of have a definition around it?
Yes, you have the definite, you give it a form and a structure around it, right? So
Yeah.
when you actually come back and you ask yourself that you tell yourself, I just woke up in the morning and I had a pain.
Right.
Is that really where it starts? Or is it actually, when you look back, there's been some overwhelming experience in your life as a child or as a woman or as a girl, some experience which just took you off balance, right? And you were so aware of what was happening at that moment. And most of us, what we do as children, and even before I entered Access, I would have this immense awareness around me, and I would start to judge that awareness. When I would start to judge that awareness of it being wrong, right, not good enough, I cannot have such awareness because this is not what people are supposed to do. I would lock it into my body.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lock something into your body, it has to show up eventually. It
Wow.
has got to show up eventually,
I
right?
I read something in the book then which just caught my eye was where did you conclude that in order to be alive you would have to have pain? So could you elaborate on this?
Definitely, definitely. Renu, sometimes what happens is you look around you and you see your family, you see your friends, and your whatever, your extended family, and you see them in pain, and somewhere there's a lot of attachment of care, of probably attention, and there's a lot of value which gets attached to that kind of pain around it, right? So would you really create anything in your life if it didn't have a value attached to it? That's really the question that I want to ask here. Do any of us create anything that doesn't have a value attached to it? Whether it's crap, whether it's magic. So if we start to ask ourselves that what is the value that I have attached to this? Yeah? How much can you start to come out of that pain and look at it as just an interesting point of view and say, oh wow, interesting that I would create something so stupid, which is not even contributing to me, which is creating pain, and without, again, judging that as good or bad, as just a choice that you made, probably from unawareness, and tell yourself, okay, now what different choice can I make here?
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and once you make a different choice, you just come out of that pain. There's no pain then. There's a choice you want to, and if you really want to have that pain, allow yourself to enjoy it. Allow yourself to say, okay, I have a backache and I'm going to just enjoy my backache. The minute you start to resist it, the minute you start to resist receiving, even if it's that backache or whatever it is, that's what leads to your suffering. It's always resistance. You're receiving. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So there is this thing in Access where we ask, is this mine and who does it belong to?
Yes.
So how do you differentiate between when it's not yours and when it's something that so also if you've taken it in your body and you're like aware of someone else's point of view, is it really a creation or is it just your awareness, one? And so I guess it's an awareness that you're having of someone else, but then how do you differentiate between, is this a pain point or is it something that is not even yours? And are you just aware of it? Because I've been having this persistent heaviness and pain in my body. It's like my body is so stiff and it is like increasing every day. So last whole month I've been aware of it, and it's like last couple of days the intensity is increasing, and I've been asking questions around it like, is it mine? I really don't get it's mine. But now that you're talking about pain points, and I'm wondering how is that? So how do you differentiate?
So when you just said it's not yours, when you return it to sender consciousness attached, when you ask that simple question as, who does this belong to, return to sender with consciousness attached, if that doesn't lighten up, then you go on to asking, is it somebody else's? It comes to no at that time because, you've already returned it to sender and it's not lightened up. Then you can always ask, is this something else? Is it something else? And whenever you ask that question, is this something else's? Most of the time it's the earth asking for a contribution.
Right.
You know what I do with myself, Shweta, which I would ask everyone to do this. Why wait for the pain to contribute to the earth? Why don't we just get up in the morning and just contribute to the earth? 10 times every morning and 10 times every night before you go to bed.
Yeah.
If you could contribute energy by just saying 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, how much could that change for your body?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing that, Chandana, but it's really not lightening up. I am actually in question, and I've also been aware that wherever I'm resisting it, to kind of push my barriers down and to receive, but really, it hasn't really lightened up as yet.
Whenever you resist pain, right. I get a pain, and whenever I get the pain, initially it used to be, oh my God, there comes the pain again, means 1 week gone, I can't do anything, I'm going to be laid up in bed. Now I don't do that. Now when the pain comes, of course, I ask first and foremost, that, who does this belong to? Return it to sender with consciousness attached. If that doesn't work, I contribute to energy to the earth. If that too doesn't work, then I go into this, like you said, I go into this mode of actually being an allowance of pain.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your pain gets created because you resist it? Like I said, suffering gets created when you resist your receiving.
Right.
So where have we decided that it's pain? Right?
Yeah.
So if you can always ask that, where did I decide? What age did I decide?
Right.
Yeah, whatever age comes up in your mind, I love to work with that also. Whatever age comes up in my mind, I just pot and pock whatever happened there. It's not really important to know what happened and what didn't happen and do all the drama of it. Just pot and pock whatever happened there. Because your energies know what happened, right? You don't really need to go into it and live there and be it and become it. Just pot and pock it, right? And like now, I feel in Access is a lot about, see, a lot of your, like what I'm getting here is that a lot of your pain is also based on your judgments, right? That every
Right.
morning, are you looking for pain when you get up?
Not really. If you're asking me, no, I'm not. But
Okay, so a lot of us get up in the morning, we say, oh, is my back, is my shoulder hurting? Is my leg hurting? Oh yeah, it's hurting. See, it's hurting. So what are we doing then? We're actually looking for it. You
yeah,
get that?
yeah, I do. But then that's not what I'm doing. What I'm like, it's more that I'm aware of, for me, I'm more aware of how my body's become stiff in the sense that when I'm moving, it's not moving. Like how there's a little lack of lubrication.
Have you done the earrings on yourself?
I've
Have you
been
done the frozen entity earrings? I think you should do
no. Yeah, true. I think it's kind of
that.
facilitated to facilitate me through it.
Yeah, because you know, you're so aware,
Yeah.
Shweta, that you know the beings around us do knock at us. They do knock at our shoulders and at us. You know that, hey, listen to me, I need to get facilitated here. And
Yeah.
how often we're just caught up in our own lives that you know we kind of don't give any attention to that awareness. And
Absolutely.
then that's the moment when that awareness becomes stronger and stronger. And then finally it shows up as pain, right?
Wow.
So when
Yeah.
it shows up as pain because you're not giving any attention to your awareness, you're judging your awareness as right and wrong. You know, it's not right. It's
Yeah, I
not
think
this.
I've just been judging myself for not exercising enough and for all that I could be doing that I'm not doing. So I think, yeah.
Maybe your body, maybe your body is crying, asking you not to judge it, darling.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I whenever I go for classes and whenever I go for facilitation, I feel my body goes into this, you know, I get pain or I fall or something, and I just want to relax and unwind and let my body rest. And that's when I realize my body is actually crying for and actually has gratitude to me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for hearing me.
Yeah.
Thank you. So is that what your body is actually asking you to do? To just
Yes, I'm
listen to
aware
your
of
body.
that. Yes, yes, true. Yeah.
Yes.
How much of
So
that? This is beautiful. Thank you so much. So also that brings up the question of how much of what we keep, judging ourselves for not doing or not doing enough is what
absolutely, yeah.
creates the pain points that you said are linked to relationship, finances, body, or whatever it is in your life. That because this reality is so much about doing or not doing enough, and there's so much of judgment around, the doing part.
You know that I in access in this book, if you read the book, there's one thing common between every pain point that you have in
So
your
for the
life, whether
guys,
it's money.
I'll just show them the book, Chandana. For the guys who joined in late, we were talking about pain points, and this is Chandana's book that we kind of are talking about, and it's totally up to you. Is it available on Kindle also, Chandana, or is it just a print version?
Not
Yes.
as
Uh,
yes, just print work.
yeah, so you guys
Yeah.
can pick it up. You can order it, and it's a beautiful book on pain points. And today we're talking about pain points. So sorry, go ahead.
So what I was telling you was pain points. If you see the one thing common between all the pain points, be it money, be it your body, your health, or your relationships, there's one thing common, and that's your judgment.
Wow, which none of us
Right?
have actually. No, we don't.
None of us have,
Okay, but
right?
you can still
None
tell
of
us.
us have.
None
Yeah,
of us.
none of us
We
have
can't. We
judgments.
don't judge.
And so even when we keep clearing our judgments and we keep saying, okay, pot and pop that, interesting point of view, like, you know, I love playing with that tool about all my judgments, whatever comes up,
Yeah.
interesting point of view, I have that point of view.
Yeah.
And I would notice there were certain judgments which were so stuck to me, they would just not leave. And now that Dane and Gary are talking about refined judgments,
Yeah, I just heard
that's,
them say that today on Voice
yeah,
America.
and yeah, even in the right relationship for you, Susan sent us this, you know, this steering on
Refined.
on your refined judgments. And what refined judgments is actually underlying our judgments.
Wow,
So
yeah.
it's a slight difference between your awareness and your refined judgments. So most of our distractor implants like anger, fear, even pain is all refined judgments. So a great clearing to actually do would be what are the refined judgments that I am operating from, that I
Wow.
am unaware of, and
Yeah.
everything that doesn't allow that to show up, destroy, and create it all.
Yes.
Yes.
Right and wrong, on 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So
Wow.
how many refined judgments do you have, Shweta, that you are operating from about your body and your pains?
Oh well, don't get me counting. Let me start. We're going to finish up the call and I'll still be counting, probably.
You're not talking to me, right?
Okay, you also talk about, what if there were no thoughts, feelings, emotions attached to your pain points? Would
Yeah.
they still show up?
Absolutely. So,
So-
when we have, tell me.
So when you're talking about thoughts, feelings, and emotions, do you mean that all that you're buying from other people, all that you're absorbing, or are they also your own?
Yeah, absolutely. They're both, according to me. It's like, for me, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, 99% of them are not ours, right? We pick them up from everybody around us, because we are like SpongeBob. So just keep picking up because of our intense awareness, right? And we don't know what to do with it. So when you don't know what to do with that huge deluge of, that emotions and thoughts and feelings, especially in a country like India, where the population is so huge, so there's so many people with so many thoughts, feelings, and what happens is we land up buying into them, right? So when that's one, according to me, that's one of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions you buy from everybody around you. But there is a percentage which when we look at our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, that takes you to your past. You see, that's where you attach thoughts, feelings, and emotion experience. Something that gave you a lot of joy or something that gave you sadness. They attach a certain emotion to it. So whenever that thing comes up again, maybe, you had a fabulous meal at a certain restaurant. So whenever you go to that restaurant, every meal is wonderful because you've attached that to it. Right? So that's one of the experiences which actually lead to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which start to operate, which creates this huge limitation. Because then you stop receiving anything greater.
Yeah,
right?
So that's all your reference points and your connection points.
Yeah, and you keep going back to your reference points, and you keep going back to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which is in access, like we talk about, perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. So if we cannot perceive and if we cannot know, we cannot be and we can never receive.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people tell us, you should be kind. But for a moment, if we stop and ask the person, are you actually doing kindness, or are you actually being kindness?
Yeah.
How much of time do we spend in doing,
in
showing that we care, and showing that we are, in every way it's doing, and that doing is so exhausting.
Yeah.
So, and how tired does your body get with that? How exhausting is it for you as a person? Your energy is so depleted because you're always doing. You're always looking at trying to, you're looking at telling yourself that, yes, I can do it. And when you're not doing and we're just being, we make ourselves less. I know I would do that. I would do that a lot when I didn't have a class or I didn't have a session a couple of days, and I would say, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. I'm so good for nothing. Nobody's coming to me for classes. No one's coming to me for sessions. Okay, that's okay. You're just your being. Just your being there in that area, in that party, or in your house, or with your friends, or whatever. When your very energy can actually change things for people.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into, using the big words of access always. Just your being you with your barriers down and just being in allowance of everybody around you can change your family, can change your friends, it can in turn change your universe.
Yeah.
So that's what I personally feel. I personally feel when you're able to be what you're facilitating others for and yourselves for, is when you're actually living access.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, beautiful.
So let's get this a little more clearer on, so how do we actually create the pain points? When we're doing thoughts, feelings, emotions, when we're doing judgment and we're actually believing that you have to do instead of be, then you are actually creating, you're being the source of creation of the pain points that are actually basically limitations, and what you were talking about, the
What
refined.
are the, yeah, refined judgments and the schematics also, you know, and
And
that's another one that Dane and Gary are really talking about, the schematics that keep
okay.
us, you know, controlled with all, like all our distractant plans of anger, fear, pain is all comes under the schematics, where, you know, we've given that structure and we've given that certain form to something where we stay under all the time,
How's that connected to the
right?
algorithms, the schematic?
That's a pain, right? What is a pain? It doesn't allow you to create. So what do you choose pain for? So many of us choose pain again to be a victim.
Right.
How many? I did that for many years. I did that for many years. I lived as a victim. Oh, I have a backache. I can't do this. Oh, I had a money issue. I couldn't do this. Oh, I had, you know, something. Oh, I had a relationship problem with XYZ. I can't move forward.
So it's like an
That was just,
excuse. Is it like an excuse that you're creating to kind of not?
it's an excuse not to create greater for yourself.
Yeah.
It's an excuse. It's so easy to go back into that little mold of being a victim. And what happens when you be a victim? You be a victim to basically control yourself, so you don't have to create greater,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's what creates a limitation.
And that's what
So
we
if
do
you
in
can
all
just,
the areas of our lives, like you were talking about, the relationship, the
yeah,
it's not only with the body.
absolutely. It's not just with the body, because, you know, pain points generally, like people ask me, oh, is it a book on, you know, acupressure? Is it a book on different points in your body which, you know, you need to press and make okay? No. Pain points are anything that don't allow you to be you.
Oh wow,
Pain
that's
points, yeah, pain points are anything which makes you be less than who you truly be. It
wow.
could be
That is
your,
really, that makes it clear. Thank you. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
since your body and your mind, your head are so intricately connected,
yeah,
what the pain that you're going through in your head sort of manifests as pain in your body. Is that it?
yeah. Uh, um, yes, it does. Of course, it does. Because when you're thinking that, you know, like I said, how many of us are looking for pain every morning when we wake up, right?
Yeah.
How many of us actually wake up saying, oh, do I have a money problem? Oh, I have to go shopping, but I don't have the money today. That's how many of us wake up like that? How many of us wake up saying, oh my God, my mother-in-law is going to trouble me now. She's in the next room, or we're going to say our husband is this, or our children, or whatever. I have to go for this evening tonight and I'm not up to it. So what are you telling your body? You're telling your body, hey, I don't want to go there. So what does your body do? It creates a situation where you don't land up going there. And that's the value of creating pain. So when you ask that question, what is the value of creating pain, of creating any kind of pain?
Wow.
And if you are brutally honest to yourself, you don't have to see, like I feel when people say, okay, we got the awareness, so what should we do with it? You don't have to do anything with the awareness. Just acknowledge it to yourself and say, wow, you know, that's an interesting choice I'm making here. When you acknowledge your awareness is when you can actually move forward.
So that
You
brings
don't
us
go
to
into judgment.
acknowledgement and allowing and allowance.
Yes, acknowledgement is actually allowing yourself to make those choices which probably don't contribute to you, and acknowledge it that, okay, that didn't work for me. So what different choice can I make here? The
Yeah.
problem with our awarenesses is that when we get an awareness and we say, oh, I did that, we instantly go into a judgment about it. And
Right.
when we go into a judgment about it, that becomes a fixed point of view for us, right? And when it becomes a fixed point of view, that becomes our reality. So
Awesome.
everything actually, if you look at it step by step, is just so simple. So we don't even need to go backwards. We just need to clear the judgment and say everything starts from that judgment of your awareness. It all starts from there. If we do not judge our awareness, how much greater could we create from that awareness, right? And that
Awesome.
awareness, be awareness. Yeah.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Thank
That is
you.
awesome. Thank
Do
you.
you want to open the kind of whoever wants to ask a question? If anyone has a question, you guys can ask. Anyone want to ask anything? Hang on, Indu, one second, Indu, 1 second. Yeah. Now just unmuted you. Yeah, go for it now.
Uh, Chandana ji,
And
it is like that relationship. It is about relationships. Like you get up in the morning, oh, I have to meet that person today. And we don't want to meet that person. How do we create something which we don't feel bad about meeting that person?
So the
How do
first
we
and
create?
foremost, how many judgments do you have around that person? Right?
A lot,
That's the
a lot.
question. Yeah. So if you start to pardon pock the judgments that you have around that person, and if you're able to be in allowance of that person the way he is,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be. You see, you can change yourself. You cannot change the next person ever. But when you are in allowance of him the way he is, without having any anger or anything around that, just look at it and say, interesting that he would make such choices in his life.
Okay.
How much could you step out of that situation of it being really difficult for you, right? How much
Right.
greater can you create from a relationship where you're in allowance of the next person? And how
Right.
many lifetimes have you been that? You see, we
Yeah.
cannot judge anything that we've never been, right? Or done. Okay. So when you judge somebody as being something, how many lifetimes have we done that? How many lifetimes have we been that?
Right.
Every lifetime that you were that and you have done that, can you destroy and uncreate that, please?
Yes, please.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, online shots, poison beyonds. Yeah. So just ask yourself, relationship is something that's so beautiful, that is just something so wonderful and so contributing, but we make relationships difficult. I made it difficult for myself. I made it difficult because I was always trying to make the next person happy. I was always trying to come up to a certain mark for where that next person would turn around and say, hey, you're a good girl. But does that ever help? Does that ever work? Are you ever good enough for anybody? If you stop and ask yourself, even if you cut yourself up into little pieces, like Dane says, he cut himself up into little pieces to fit into that small car, it was still not good enough, right? So
Right.
if you can be the kindness to yourself, Induji, if you can be that kindness to yourself that you look outside for, how much can you receive, and how much can your body rejoice with that? And when your body and you are happy with that kindness, how much greater can you create in every sphere? In every sphere, every pain point that we look at.
Right.
Everything starts to change. When your relationship with you starts to change, everything begins to change. And how does a relationship with you start to change? Is only with your allowance and your stepping beyond your judgments. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else have any other questions on what we were talking about? Or mostly we really don't talk about what we're talking about. Anything else you want to ask is also welcome.
That's a nice one. I love that.
Yeah, we really talk about what we're talking about. Now I want to ask something else, and that's fine too. We're an allowance. So any other questions that you have?
That gives pain. In fact, I've not written about certain other things, like, even about creating, even that could be a pain point,
Creating. How's that?
Yeah. Like if you judge yourself for not creating enough,
Uh-huh.
doesn't that keep you up all night? Don't you wake up in the morning saying, oh my God, I'm not being able to create this, I'm not being able to create
Yeah.
that.
It probably I get up feeling I haven't done enough, but I sleep well. I mean, I do enough all through the day to sleep tired and exhausted.
Yes.
I get
Right.
up and, oh my God, I wish I'd done that too yesterday, or probably what else do I have to do today?
What else do I have to do? We start our day with that, right?
Yeah.
How much greater can we? How much
I'm
more can
talking
we
about
create?
people. I don't, but I'm talking about this person that I know that does. So,
Yeah. I don't either.
yeah.
We just talk about others.
Yeah, absolutely. Like like I said, we don't judge. We're like, act sweep.
Sure. Absolutely. Don't judge at all.
Everything that is, let's just destroy and create it all right away. Uncreated, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pon pock, online shows, boys and Beyonce. Thank you. Sunita had a question, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I might have some interrupted sound. Nevertheless, there are two things I'd like to talk here. One is a sharing or something which I read, long back, which was a role play. And I'd love Chandana to add something to that. So first, let me tell you what it was. So this was a role play about a person who was playing as a person who had dengue fever, and the other person was enacting as dengue itself. So in the process of the role play, I mean, of course, there was a lot of dialogues and all to it. At the end of it, of course, the person who was suffering from fever was in lot of pain, and so was dengue in lot of pain. And the story which dengue said, I am here to take people to a higher realm. For them, I'm here for them to come and embrace me, because I'm here to show them a higher realm, of the world. And here they are crying and they are pained because of the fact that I exist. But my existence is not to bring them pain, but to have them to embrace me, so that they are taken to a higher dream. And I somehow could relate to it so beautifully, and it opened up a new window for me completely. So what do you have to say about that, Chan? Or if you could add something to that, please.
Sure. What comes to me first and foremost, I must admit, I know no other modality except access consciousness, right? So when I talk about anything, it's only through access. I mean, I don't know these other modalities, but I do fully appreciate them, and I know they work too. But according to me, every situation in your life is a learning. Every situation. If you can look at any choice that you make, and you look back and you say, this happened, and you know that there was complete chaos after that. How much chaos gets created from there? We don't tend to look at that. We don't tend to look at what gets created. All our energy goes into that moment which is not right and which is wrong, and we go into the judgment of that moment, right? So if you start to look at, like Gary Dane talks so much about chaos and order now in access.
Yeah.
So I look at these situations as, as probably chaos getting instilled. How it shows up, we don't know, guys. We don't know.
True.
We just allow it to show up, but know that whatever shows up is going to create something greater. But the moment you start to judge that chaos, or to judge whatever starts to get created as bad and wrong, and it might kill me and it may, whatever, that's just what gets created. So again, when such things happen, such situations like you said about dengue happening and stuff, if you could look at it as, well, how much greater can I create from here? And what is my body trying to tell me here? That has created something like dengue. If you can talk to your body every day and ask your body to contribute to you, it's wonderful. It is just absolutely beautiful. Every morning I get up in the morning, I ask my body what it wants to eat. I ask my body what it wants to wear. I ask my body where it wants to go. And I do that. And trust me, I have had something known as fibromyalgia, which is a lot of pain, which is like I used to be laid up in bed for 3 months sometimes. And by just doing that simple, the very, very simple, questions that I ask my body has gratitude for me today. It has gratitude to finally be acknowledged by me. So how many of us do not acknowledge our bodies, because of which our bodies create things like dengue, jaundice, and whatever? So what's the value of it getting created? That's the question you want to ask here.
Thank you so much, Anna. And I myself had fever, about a month back, and this was a time and I had to travel. And I was having medicine for the first 2 days, and something wasn't working. And then I just started talking to my body, and it was so beautiful. There were 4 tablets. I used to hold one next to my chest and say, do you want to have this? And whatever it said, yes, I would have. Otherwise, I would just leave.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you so much for
You're welcome. And another thing here I'd like to add about medicines, if your body requires the medicine, please take it. It's Access never says do not take medication. Do not take medication unnecessarily. Do not drug yourself with medications. That's an addiction. But if your body requires a certain medication, it's okay to take it. Your body's telling you, yes, I require it. Please take it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So it all comes down to, again, being in question.
Absolutely. Because questions is the only thing which creates more awareness, right? You keep asking questions and something or the other new shows up and you make different choices, which opens up so many possibilities for you. And you say, oh, wow, it's like a buffet, right? In Access, when you start asking questions, it's actually like, oh, I'll pick that. No, I'll probably go in for that. I'll probably take both. It's like, hey,
Or I
who the hell said?
also, I think I probably wouldn't take any is another point of view that I have had to work hard on because there was such a wrongness attached to you not choosing either or both, that every time I didn't choose one or the other, I would go into the wrongness of oh, I think I should have. It's like, again, the not doing enough bit or the not choosing enough bit that was kind of the missing part of the puzzle for me. And now I'm okay, and I'm an allowance of me choosing or not choosing whatever works for me or doesn't work for me, whether or not, irrespective of anyone else choosing it.
Choosing it.
Even with the Access classes, I think there are so many of them with so many brilliant facilitators, but it's fine what you're choosing, what you're not choosing, because that really, the fact that you think you're not choosing.
And it's again based on judgments, right? Of others choosing and and telling you, oh, he's really good and oh, she's really good. You must do this. You know what will actually contribute to you. There's certain classes, the world says, I'm doing this on online, I'm doing this. Aren't you doing it? I'm like, no, it doesn't. It just, I will choose it when I have to choose it. So if we can actually step out of judging ourselves for being less than or greater than, we've done more classes than somebody, it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really, I really feel it doesn't really mean anything. It's just how much of your life are you spending asking questions, and are you actually choosing? We could ask questions, we could get the awareness, and then what?
Yeah, because everything about Access is about you creating your own life in a way that it's never been possible before. So if it's not creating your life, then I don't think there's any point.
Actually, that's a life magnitude in every form. I know because when I did my first bars class, I was like, okay, that's an expensive class, but fine, I'll choose it. Let's see what shows up, And when I had to do the foundation, I was like, that's really expensive.
I remember asking Renu if there was an extra zero there. I love to quote that one. I was like,
oh yeah, right?
An extra zero there. Kind of just put that there, can you rub it out? Like, no.
Yeah. No. And now it's like, oh, okay, I'll choose that. Money comes later. You choose the class first and then you ask how much is it for. Because your way of looking at life has changed. Your choices, you have started operating from choice instead of operating from that limitation of money, of body. Like somebody would say, you want to go to so-and-so place for a holiday. And, with my backache, I would say, oh, but my back, I don't know if I'll be able to walk so much. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I don't know if I'll immediately, for even asking my body that, would you enjoy it? I had decided I could do it. Right? So how much of limitation is that? How much do we stop ourselves from actually having fun? From just having fun, and that's what life is. We talk about generating, creating, and instituting. What is generating? It's just joy.
And when you attach significance of money and judgment, the way you're saying, to the fun aspect of it, rather than asking what's going to create greater here, and then the money might just show up, and it usually does.
It does. It always does. And if you're actually choosing, it will. It will. There's no way. Money is actually just there for you to invite into your life. I mean, it's like I've seen people change their lives. I have changed my financial reality. I've seen people changing their financial reality, and it doesn't take long. That's the best part of it. It's not like you don't have to keep going back for stuff. You just get the tools, and it's like this toolbox, and you take out one tool a day and say, okay, I'll play with this one today. Okay, maybe I'll just invite money into my house today. So every day you just sit and you say, money come. And wow, does money flow in?
It does.
It's kind of giving a visual of you deciding, sitting with the toolbox, like, oh, I'm going to make this cabinet now, whatever it takes and however long it takes and whoever I have to invite and whatever it costs me. Well, if not today, then maybe I'll have it tomorrow, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to finish it and I'll put the glass and I'll put the veneer and I'll polish it and I'll make it look nice and glossy and shiny and I'm going to have it in my living room, It's like that.
Yes.
So whatever it takes.
Just keep the toolbox open, right? Don't shut it. because you don't know when you would want to put the tool back and take out another one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that, yeah, I'm ready to play with anything.
Yeah. So the commitment part also comes in, right? When you kind of commit to doing whatever it takes, then that also is a way where you're kind of eliminating the pain points that you've already created. So once you really don't even have to pock and pot. If I'm getting it right, do you really have to pock and pot? Then once you've already decided and gone beyond what you chose earlier, then it kind of,
once you chose something, then you've chosen it, and nothing on this earth can stop you. That's commitment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of erases the judgment. Right?
Sorry?
That kind of erases the judgment and all the muck that you created there. And once you've decided and you've chosen beyond that, then doesn't it all kind of get erased on its own? You probably don't even have to pock and pot it.
Sometimes your awareness is just so strong.
Yeah. It's
just once your awareness, you're half there.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Absolutely.
You women aren't really brilliant, are you?
No, nor are you, honey.
Cool. Awesome. How does it get better?
Yeah.
So anyone else want to ask Chandana? We have just about 4 or 5 minutes left of the call. Does anyone else have a question or a comment? Or Ina, you've unmuted yourself. Would you like to say something? Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hi. It's such a great topic. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, I'm so curious as to, like, how did you choose the topic? Did it choose you? And, like, what sort of, like, what were your pain points that actually got you to creating? Like, what were the tools that you used to creating beyond and creating around? Like, what was it for you?
Okay. Thank you for that question. How this book came into creation, it actually fell into my lap. Like I wrote it in the book when I did a little class on pain points. Okay. And I had like 25 odd people in it. And it was the first class the only class so far that I've had so many people. And I keep saying, okay, how do I outcreate that now? And I had 23, 24 people in this class, and each and every one of them, I mean, there were people from all over. There were people from Indore, there were people from Madras, there were people from Delhi, Calcutta, everywhere. Each one of them called me after the class and said, hey, you know what? Things changed for me.
Wow.
So I was, okay, that definitely works somewhere, you know. And then that's when, and you know what I used to do? I used to just send out the daily prompts and tell them, you have to do this and you have to do that. And, you know, and I would just ask the energies of what's required today. And that's how I would actually create my class. I did not sit down with a manual and say day 1, day 2, day 3. It just came every day. What is the
class? What happened? I think Chandana's connection is on. Has she frozen? Or am I frozen? I'm not clear.
Chandana's frozen.
Oh, okay. Let's just wait for her to get back.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's not over yet.
Baby.
That was something really interesting she was talking about. That's a brilliant question, Nina. Thank you for asking. I would love to know more about that. And we will just wait for her to get back.
Another thing I'd like to ask her, she's written in her book about when she's in the part where the relationship, and she's talking about relationships, she's saying you usually operate from a space of desperation.
Okay.
In a relationship. So what came up for me was that, you know, okay, when you look at, like, I have lots of young kids, girls who come in. I'm also teaching a young girl, you know, and there's a certain level of desperation for marriage there, you know. Okay, what if I miss the bus? What if I don't find the right person? What if I am left alone? So I was wondering if what she here meant by desperation.
Okay.
Chandana, come back. Can I call her up?
Yep. I just sent her a message. Hey, what would it take?
Aja, aja.
So in the meantime, are you guys actually clear about what she was talking about, the pain points and the judgments and the allowance and the... I do need a little more clarity on the pain points, frankly. But there, 1 second. I'll put myself on mute, Renu.
So yes, any questions we could take on? Anything else you'd like to know till she comes back? Oh, that was somebody else. Induji, do you have a baby around you?
Okay, so she's trying to get back on without her video. I think it kind of conked off for her. So,
Okay.
Do we have any more questions on pinpoint?
No, there was one little child speaking somewhere.
There she is. Hello.
Is she?
Yeah. There she
I
is.
can't see her.
Can you hear me? Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah. I don't know what happened. The call just dropped. Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of heard till when
Yeah, so we were talking to you now. Yeah.
the class.
Yeah, that's how the class got created, right? And
Chandana, there's an echo. Would you like to?
There's an echo. Why don't you switch off your
should I unmute? Should I switch off the video?
Try it.
Will probably be clearer. Okay. So the second part, can you hear me now?
No, there's an echo. We can hear you, but there's an echo.
Okay, let me just leave the meeting and come back.
Keep the phone away, Chandana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe with the phone. Wow. So how many pain points are there with technology, and how many of us have pain points with technology? Everything that is, we're just trying to read it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, poor and poor, online, shorts, boys and beyond. So whatever pain points are, we're trying to figure out the pain points, whatever they are. And all the ones with technology, everything that's not allowing this call to go on, we're totally, can we just try and read it all?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Online shows, boys and beyond. And don't use this clearing with anything else except other than technology. Okay, guys? It's only for technology.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we
Yeah,
can.
Yeah.
Can you keep your phone away from the thing? I'm wondering if.
Okay. Is that okay now?
Yeah.
Clearer?
Better.
Okay.
Headphones?
Cool.
You have headphones? Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Veena.
Yeah.
That should work too.
Yeah. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, there's an echo.
Okay. Fine. So, what was the second part of your question, Ina? I'm sorry, I kind of lost you there.
Just like how it sort of came about, and what was your like what was showing up in your universe, as well as to like how you chose it, and like.
Okay, so I told you how it got created, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's how it actually got created, and the reason why I created this, even this class, was because somewhere I used to laugh. I used to laugh with a lot of people and tell them, I'm actually the live testimony for access. I have pain in my body. From a space of abundance of money, we created a space of a lot of problems. Our financial reality had totally changed in a matter of a few years. And I had not certain, but quite a few relationship issues. So I was like fighting all sides. According to me, it was not just one, like not just the money or just the body or just relationships. I was actually battling all three sides, and I would always be that poor victim. Oh, poor me. And I lived in that beautiful story of mine, which actually created, like I explained to you earlier, which was actually, according to me, was that which actually controlled me, which started to own me. The question that I would ask myself is, who would I be if I had no pain? Right? So if you actually ask yourself that question, what would you be and who would you be if you had no pain?
What would you be?
Yeah. And for me, that question changed so much, not just in my body, but in every single aspect of my life. Things began to change, and they began to change so dramatically and so quickly that it was actually beautiful. The financial reality changed from at having gone right down to having actually gone even higher. And my body changed from being stronger than what I was back at the age of 25. So I'm like, wow, how much greater can I create here? You know, my relationships, I have the most fabulous contributing relationships, my friends, my family. And the best part of it is, I am just being me. And I will not divorce a single part of me for anything. That's the commitment I have to changing my life, to changing my reality. Really? Because I know, I have seen it time and over again. Whenever I cut myself up to fit into somebody's box or to do something that the next person would be happy with, even if it doesn't make me happy, it's never created. It's only destroyed.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right? So that's, yeah. So, you know, it's, and like something really interesting which stuck to me in exercise, and I just love that, is that people always tell you, choose for yourself. You know, and they leave it at that. They never add that one line where choosing for yourself doesn't mean that you have to choose against anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of
you just have to
choose for yourself. So when you you have to choose for someone, it kind of makes
sense. Absolutely. Because I would always say, I choose for myself. What happens to XYZ? What happens to the next one? Yeah. But you know, when you're choosing for yourself, it doesn't mean over anybody. Right? It's just choosing for yourself, and somewhere that does contribute to the next person too.
Definitely.
We're all like one, we're all in oneness, right? So when you start to choose without it being anything selfish for yourself or just for me, when that goes, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's actually really wonderful.
I'd like to add something to that, is how Renu also beautifully puts it. I think it's kind of, her voice rings in my head every time that sentence comes, is that when you're choosing for yourself, you also create space for the other people in your life to choose.
Yes, so true.
Is kind of stuck. Thanks for that, Renu.
So true. Yeah, so true. You can actually show them how much greater they can be, right? Yeah, that's so true. Beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome. So great. That was beautiful. And one more little thing is that you know, when you kind of start choosing for yourself, what kind of happens to me is when things start actually turning around for you, and then people want to get back to you, and they come back, like the relationships that you were talking about that go awry, and then suddenly everybody wants to be with you, and even though what you're doing is working, but they just want to hang around and be with you, and then you're like kind of tempted to go back to the older patterns, and then you know, it's there's a little temptation there. It's like that little devil there saying, "Why would you like to go back to pleasing them again? Now go back in your life and stuff." And then
because that was somewhere, no, because somewhere that did again. That's again your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, right? That attachment to your past, that attachment to your fun experiences. So we all do that.
Is that a pain point?
That is a pain point. That is a pain point. Absolutely, it's a pain point. Yeah, it's again a pain point, which is like a nagging one, right? Nagging. It's like when you're beyond a relationship. Yet when you see them, yet you feel, oh, you know what? I did have some good moments. I wish. That wish becomes the pain point.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't let you be you then.
Certainly.
Okay. What if you could have them in our space?
So what do you do? You okay, all the pain points here, pock and pot, like that?
Pock and pot them, and just if you could just have them in your space, just have them in your universe, but don't allow them into your space.
The people.
Yeah, the people and whatever. The people especially, because they always say, do not cut off anybody from your life, right? You don't know who could contribute to you when.
Yeah.
Allow them in your universe, allow them to contribute to you. But you don't have, doesn't necessarily mean you have to bring them into your space.
Yeah.
Right?
That's kind of tricky. You know? Like, okay, don't create separation. But don't allow them to.
Because when we create separation, yes.
So and again, in your book, you also talk about gratitude, you know. So that would tie in very well over here. That even when you're looking at those people whom you felt, you feel have not been too much of a contribution to your life, when you come into the space of gratitude, then you can also see their contribution, you know, because you're not judging. Judgment
Yes.
and gratitude cannot be together, like you've written.
They cannot be together. Absolutely. One of them has to die. And we'd rather kill judgment, right? We don't want to kill gratitude, because what gets created from gratitude is more of that. So if you have gratitude towards a situation, even if it's just a 5 rupee note in your wallet, but if you have gratitude to that, you will only create more of it. But the minute we go into judgment of saying, I don't have enough money, and there's never enough in the house, what are you creating? You're just creating a huge judgment which becomes your fixed points of view, which become your reality. So instead, if we feel judgment and start to operate from gratitude, how much can we create greater? Yeah.
So one last thing that Renu, the question that you said when Chandana had locked out that you wanted to ask her, what was that?
There was one thing that when I was reading the parts of your book, the thing that stood out for me was that in relationships, most of us sometimes operate from a space of desperation and unhappiness. So what I was telling them, what desperation came out for me was that I'm counseling a lot of youngsters also these days, and desperation from their point of view, what I can understand was that, okay, desperation to find someone, not to be left, not to miss the bus, not to be left alone, to have a partner, to belong to the fact that their friends are getting married.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes. Desperation, absolutely.
So what I wanted to find out was what were you talking about when you wrote desperation there? What was the
desperation is, of course, all that you said, and also when you want to just be in a relationship. Right? So how important is it to have a relationship with somebody, to know that you have a value in somebody's life, and that's when you value yourself. That's desperation. When you're willing to take on any relationship, with anybody, as long as they give you that attention. Okay, I'll change. You want me to change? I'll change. But can I have him? So what have you just done? You've actually given up yourself. You've given up on your awareness. You've given up on yourself by fitting into that person's box and becoming what he wants you to be. When we did the Right Relationship for You class with Susan, and it was a beautiful thing that she said. She said, when you get married and when you go out with a man, like when the girl goes out with a boy, there's that instant attraction that they have to each other, right? Which is the sexualness that they have towards each other. Yeah? And then after a few years, it goes. There's nothing left. And when you start saying, I don't know what happened to our relationship. We're just friends and we're nothing beyond that. Is that what actually is happening here? Or is it that your sexualness gets directed elsewhere? When you start to look at that, you start to create so much greater with your relationships. Because then you are aware of, hey, where am I directing my sexualness to? Would I want this?
Actually, when you are directing your sexualness in this reality is either to see, okay, who you can go to bed with, or who you have a relationship, or who you can add into your life to sort of like a feather in your cap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you're talking about sexual energy here, it's like the you that you are. It's
that kind energy, it's that nurturing energy which you are to yourself, right? And if you're not that sexualness, that kindness and that nurturing energy to yourself, how can you be it to anybody else? And how can you receive it from anybody? Because when you're not being that.
I said, so it boils down to your own relationship with yourself.
Your own relationship with yourself. Because it's such a fabulous thing to start, when you start noticing that, oh wow, when I can change my relationship with myself and become the kindness to myself, how much of my receiving can open up? Because then you're open to more kindness, you're open to more nurturing from the universe. And then you have your barriers are not up to, I can receive from there, not from there. Right? There's no separation from anybody. Right. It's just being in complete allowance of anything and everything that shows up, because you are in allowance of yourself. Yeah?
And then what could that sexual energy create?
How much could it create, right? And that's when your relationships only grow, because then every time you want to out-create it. You know, and what most of us do is we look back at a 10-year-old relationship or a 15-year-old relationship and say, oh, it was so beautiful then, it's no longer nice now. Can anything ever be the same? When it's the same, that stagnancy is death. So that's when we start to kill the relationship. Because we want to keep creating what was, not what can be, how much greater can we create, right? So that's where actually a lot of our relationships die, because we keep our reference points alive to the past of what was. And that's what actually rings a death knell for any relationship. So if you look at it and say, oh wow, this is different today, how much greater can it be tomorrow? How much greater can it be 10 seconds from now? You know, it doesn't have to be that for the whole day. And if you can start to play with your relationships and have fun in relationships, it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Coming in 2 minutes.
I think we're just about, Renu, we're just about to wind up. Chandana, would you like to talk about classes on...
There's someone ringing the bell. I'll have to go 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, your classes on pain points or any other classes you're doing, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the Breaking Free from Pain Points, which is a 4-hour class that now I'm creating out of the book. So, you know, it's going to be like taking them through the pain points of whatever their pain points are, and bringing them to this new space of being able to create from that energy of sexualness. The entire book takes you through those different areas of your life, and eventually it brings you to this beautiful space of allowance of yourself. So I'm looking forward to facilitating my first one. I still haven't brought it out, and I think I'm coming to Nagpur with it.
So that these class you're doing in Delhi and one in Nagpur in January. And you could send out that information along with the recording tomorrow, day after. Once I have it. How about creating an online class? If it's a 4-hour class, would you have
I would love to do that. Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome, would that be?
I would love to do that. Yes, let's do that. It sounds wonderful. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
Let's do that. Be here in Nagpur too.
I'd love to be there, of course. Thank you.
Both.
I'm also looking forward to the Right Relationship class, to the New Beginnings, which I've just become a facilitator of, and I have a class happening in Delhi and Chandigarh, then few other cities coming up. So that's a beautiful class again, which talks about, about your pain points and whenever and again, pain points and relationships, right relationship for you is again all about your pain points.
Oh.
Because it's about the relationship with you. It's about the relationship. Once you create that relationship with you, you can create that relationship with anybody, with anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant. Hey,
Thank you.
I'd love to attend both of these. Let's have them soon. Let's have you in Nagpur soon, and all you guys in Delhi and Chandigarh. What would it take? What would it contribute to you if you attended classes? What would it change for you?
Yeah, I was also going to Bombay, the Right Relationship class for you, and I'm going in the month of March. Yeah, so that's also on the card. So let's see. I'm looking forward.
And I will send it out to all you guys on our mailing list, wherever the classes are getting created. And if you guys would like to sign up, well, you'll have Chandana's email ID also on the mail, or you can just talk to her or talk to us if you want to come to Nagpur or whatever, or create a class for her.
The online class too. We can talk to you about that. That would be wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you guys for showing up. So we'll sign up now. And thank you, Chandana. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Renu, Bhabhi. Thank you so much. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.